everyone, it's Desiree, and let's make a Halloween card. But let's light it up too. I am featuring, for my project today, I'm going to be featuring the Spellbinders Dancing Mummy, the Haunted House. Those are the two dies. I'm going to be using a sentiment from their Boo Dance Party sentiment set. And I am going to, this is the first time I'm working with the Easy Halo Light by Pear Blossom Press. Just want to real quick say, I will be apologizing. There will be flashing lights in this because I'm testing it to make sure I don't keep the piece of paper in as I'm putting this card together. So again, if flashing lights bother you, it's just the disclaimer that you're going to see them in here, and I apologize throughout the video. All right, so let's get on to the card. I did my die cutting. I cut the house 3 times from black cardstock. I'm going to take some dark purple, set that aside the first layer, and I'm just going to use my cutter bee scissors just right up underneath that so that I have a purple background in the windows. You can go with yellow, you can go with white, you can go with vellum, whatever it is that you would want to go with. Most of you know I love purple. Yes, I love purple. Then I'm going to take the other 2 that I die cut and then put those behind the purple. So the purple will be up close and not so far away. I wanted that to be flush up against the house, but I did want the house to have some dimension, so I just added all kinds of layers. This mummy is absolutely adorable. Now you can make him dance. Now what that means is the legs, you know, it's one of those that'll swing back and forth if you put like a little tiny circle in the one section of the legs, and then you put the body on top, so they'll swing back and forth. But this mummy's going to sit somewhere very special on the card, like you saw. So I did not die cut those. I used I actually used my mixed media paper by Strathmore. So this is the toned gray and the toned tan. These were my scraps that I had. So I die cut the body 3 times, again, to give him or her some dimension. And then I just die cut the, what do you call it? The wrappings once. And then the way that they're die cut and everything else, they actually have their own dimension to them where you add pieces on top of other pieces. So I think that is just, it's just absolutely cool. Now there are cutouts for the eyes, and I'm going to assume cheeks. So for his eyes, I gave him like dark blue eyes. Mommy should have blue eyes, absolutely. Don't have to be red or yellow or orange. And then purple cheeks. It's our right as creators to have fun with the colors. It just is. It's what we can do. Some of the pieces that you're die cutting when it comes to the wrappings will actually come from the back to make it look like they're untwining. I'm coming in with my Black Soot Distressed Archival and a small blending brush, and I'm just going around the sides and over a little bit of these wrappings just to dirty them up. And plus to make him look cuter. Absolutely. So I'm using the scraps from what I used in back of the house, and I'm just putting those pieces right in behind the cheeks. Again, using my tweezers. For stuff this small, tweezers are definitely your best friend. Make sure you clean off your tweezers if you get glue on them. Just saying. These are tips and tricks that I have learned. So again, don't learn from my mistakes. But we're supposed to have fun, right? So we definitely do. And that's our little mummy guy. I think he is absolutely adorable. I have this scrap piece of gray cardstock. It looks blue, but trust me, it's just a cool gray. I'm adding some of that distressed black soot. And again, I am not looking for this to be perfect. I don't want it to be perfect. I want that to just sit right at the top because the house is going to sit above that line. I'm then coming in with even more. So I'm bringing that down. I was not sure how wide this band was going to be. I'm now coming in with Uncharted Mariner. Oh my God, I am loving this color. This color is absolutely gorgeous. Again, I am not worried about the blend. The worse it is, the better, I think, for this. So I don't even have a blend there. It's just I slapped down some colors. Now I'm coming in with some black soot. So I'm coming in with the distress inks because, yes, I'm going to spray this so that it can get all kinds of distressy. And I'm going to dry it. I'm not going to lift them. I'm not really a fan. I very rarely, let me say it that way, I very rarely, when I spritz distress inks, lift them up with a towel. If I'm coming in with a towel, that means I'm impatient and I just want it to dry. I'm going to be honest on that. But because I used the archival ink first when it came to the black soot, it held that solid black line. And that's what I wanted. I definitely wanted that there. I'm planning out the positioning of where this halo light is going to sit compared to where the house is. Now, in the die set for the house, you get these steps. So this is all going on a 7x7 card base. And this panel here that I'm working on was cut to, and I'm measuring it now, 6.5 by 6.5. So everything's sitting on that panel. Now I put a little bit of Uncharted Mariner there so that the steps would stick out just a little bit. You could use black, whatever it is. But again, playing with that placement of where that ground level should be. But I did want it to be thick because that's where my mummy's going to sit. So it's almost like someone's looking through a lens and this little mummy pops up out of the corner. That's kind of what I was somewhat going for. I drew a circle from the halo to say, okay, here's where this moon is going to be. Now I'm starting out with saltwater taffy. You can see I'm going with a totally different combo here. It's going to be first saltwater taffy at the base. Then I'm going to come in with Kitsch Flamingo. Beautiful bright pink. I know you're all going, what is she doing? Villainous Potion. I am in love with Villainous Potion. It's a beautiful color. It is, and mixed and with saltwater taffy, you've got me on that. Then I'm coming in with the Uncharted Mariner. So, this looks horrible. It really does. It looks absolutely horrible. And the piece of cardstock that I'm working on is a piece of Bristol vellum cardstock. Now I'm going to come in with black soot. If you thought it was going to look even worse, here you go. It does. It looks so horrible. And as I'm doing this, I'm going, wow, this just looks woof. But it's all going to come together. And you can see I took that black soot and even went over the saltwater taffy. Now I realized that kind of wasn't going to be there. And I needed a base for the halo because we're going to do something with that halo. So on a separate piece, a scrap piece of the Bristol, I went over with the salt water and then over with the black soot. And again, I just scrolled over it to give it that moon kind of thing. Because when we look at the moon, when we can really see it, we see gray and white and ivory and all those different colors. So I drew a circle of the die that I used to cut out that center. Now I'm flicking water onto this panel. Maybe you're asking, why didn't I spray it? I wanted to be specific where these droplets were going to go, the area that I wanted them to land. I knew where my house was going to be. I knew where certain elements were going to be. So I didn't want to lose this effect. I love the effect of water droplets. And if you notice, no, I didn't use a paper towel. I love the reaction of water onto the oxides because it creates that oxidation. Also, the beauty of these oxides, as they dry, they change as well. So in video, it looks like, wow, they are some really bright colors together, but they really even out afterwards, because I'm looking at it now and it's just awesome. I'm using my 1/8 of an inch double-sided score tape, and I'm putting that around the outside of a My Favorite Things circle pouch. I'm going to remove the release paper, and I'm going to put the halo over this. Now, when you put the halo over it, make sure that the battery operation and the button are up. I'm just saying. I actually did do some planning when it came to this card before I filmed. And yeah, that's how I know. Make sure that's up. I am using some droplets, and they are by HAI Supply, and they're called Halloween droplets. Now, the My Favorite Things pouch and the interactive label stamp that you see, or that you will see, and these Halloween droplets, these can be found at Pear Blossom as well. I'm not so much making a shaker, but putting my shaker elements in, but gluing them down. So I want them to stay in place. I don't want them to move. These are wonderful colors. I mean, there's bright purple, this bright orange that matches the saltwater taffy perfectly. There's a gray, and they come in different sizes. So I'm just filling up this circle with these droplets, because when the light hits them, and I've been pushing, I'm surprised the battery is not dead at this point. I am just loving how they reflect. The light reflects all through these droplets. So it's really cool how that does that. So I'm adding even more. I want this to be really full, have the colors all over and spread out. So that's going to be the backdrop. You know, just like when we do a shaker card, we always have that back panel that the shakers, of course, are held in by. This is what this is here. And again, realized after I cut the circle out of the background, I did say, oh yeah, I kind of need that color. I'm going to use double-sided tape on the back of this halo light, and then I'll use glue around that edge to secure that in place. So I'll have that, what do you call it? That being secured. And I apologize. I should have warned you that I keep flicking the light. So I really, really apologize. So now I'm going to take this bottom panel, and I'm going to use double-sided tape. I'm going to be using that a lot because of all of the moisture that went onto the cardstock, whether it was the oxides, that ink, or whether it was the water that I put down onto it. So using double-sided tape just helps secure all of that. So I'm setting that in place. I'm going to put little tiny marks along that where I have that panel, now that I know where I want it to be, so that I can remove the release paper and then set that right down where I want that to be. Now I will be trimming this, of course, using my long shear scissors, just going right along that edge and then carefully removing them from my scissors. So that's our panel there. So now, and I can trim, so depending upon how I set this, I'm going to put a pencil line around that piece so that I know this is where that mechanism is going to sit, because now I want to put my double-sided foam tape into place so that I have that gap, so that it's not constantly, of course, turned on. Now this is very thick double-sided tape. I apologize. I don't know where I got this. Alls I will say is no. I'm using it because I have it. And I'm looking forward to when it's gone. So I just don't know where I got this or if somebody gave this to me. I think this is something, of course, that I got. It's just, there's just something about it. Excuse me. Let me get some more water. Sorry if you heard that gulp. So now that I have my double-sided foam in my foam tape in place, I'm going to pull back sections of it because I want to get this panel in. Now, of course, when I did it the way that I did it, I was off. So I'm carefully ripping that off, and it worked because this is really strong double-sided tape. I thought, I'm like, oh no, it's ruined. But no, I was able to do it. And again, I do apologize. I'm hitting that light, so if that's bothering somebody, I apologize now. I'm going to be removing the rest of the release paper, and we're going to get this onto a mat that I'm going to create. For the backing of the lighted piece, I'm just going to use double-sided tape. So what's really funny is I'm removing all of the release paper. I'm adding glue to make sure that it's nice and secure, and I don't have the mat ready. So here we go with the mat. So I have a piece of 7x7 black cardstock, and I cut a piece of 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. It is a red iridescent mirror cardstock by Tonic. It's really cool looking. It looks like fire, and it's got purple in it. It's really cool. And that's going to be the frame. Of course, I did cut the center out because it's just magnificent. Tonic Studios has this entire line of iridescent mirrored cardstocks that are just to die for. So now we have everything in place. Again, my camera stopped filming, or my phone stopped filming. I am so sorry. So here I added our little tiny mummy guy down onto the bottom, put the house where we have it on top of those steps, and we've added some bats and some clouds. And on one of the clouds, I stamped from the My Favorite Things interactive label stamp set, push. So somebody knows to push that cloud. These ghosts are absolutely adorable. And all the ghosts, the clouds, and the bats come with the haunted house. It's just really cute. I think it's absolutely adorable. And I love the way the mummy's like coming up out of the corner like, hey, I'm here for the booze. Yeah, okay. So I thought it was cute. Again, we gotta have fun. I'm all about the sarcastic sentiments. I added some of those awesome Halloween droplets as well to the front of the card. And again, I'm playing with that light. Absolutely love it. And now we are going to set this onto our card base. Thought I did that. And I'm going to use my Uline 2-inch wide double-sided film tape. I love Uline's double-sided tape. It's reasonably priced, but again, use what you have. This is just something, again, that I always use when I watercolor or create a project that took on a lot of water or ink blending, because this will flatten it out and keep that flat. And there we go. That is our card featuring the Spellbinders Boo Dance Party new collection release, and also the Halo Lite from excuse me, from Pear Blossom Press. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the project. I know I had a lot of fun with it, and I say thank you so much for taking the time to stop by and spend just this little bit of time with me showing what I created today. The products that I used will be listed down below in the video description. I will also have links to the Spellbinders blog so that you can get even more inspiration, and of course to their shop, so that if you want to take a gander around. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below, and I will get back to you and answer your questions as soon as I can. Again, thank you to everybody who comments, who likes the video. I am truly grateful and very appreciative that you do take the time to either be one of my subscribers, or you just passed through and just took the time to watch it. So to each and every one of you, I say thank you. Thank you very much. Enjoy your process. Enjoy what you create. Take the techniques that I used today and apply them to what you have. But have fun with it. And know that you're creating art. It's your art and it's unique. But also remember what's most important to me. We've got to always be creative. And I'll talk to you in the next one, guys. Take care.